Hi everyone and welcome back to Yokai Hime's voiceovers. Today we are doing chapter 2 of Love Spell Written in the Stars, Florian Atlas. So without further ado, the next day. I glanced around the empty halls of my university as I walked towards the area Professor Atlas told me to report to yesterday. I instinctively clutch my bag closer as I find the usually lively halls and classrooms are all but silent and devoid of any life. Feels so weird being on campus this early on a Saturday. It's surprisingly emptier than I expected. As I finally reach the door to the designated faculty room, I notice it's been left unlocked and slightly open. I can even make out a familiar voice coming from the inside. I take a deep breath before silently shooting my fists in the air. Alright, this is it. This is the lucky break I needed. I'm definitely gonna do my best. No more half-assing. I walk into the faculty room and spot Professor Atlas sifting through some piles of paperwork. Good morning.
Good morning. You're here early. Good. Nice to see you're serious about this.
Of course I am. Thank you for giving me this amazing opportunity. I still don't know if I'm worthy of it, but I'll definitely do my best. Professor Atlas flashes me a cheerful smile.
This is your setup. My private office is through that door across from you, and it's always open, so should you need anything, just pop your head in. Our file room is that way. The kitchen is over yonder, and the restrooms are to your left.
As he gives me a small tour of my new work area, I notice that many of the other professors' doors are closed. In fact, there doesn't even seem to be anyone in the entire office but us. Are the other professors coming in later?
No, I'm afraid many of our department's faculty are either already on summer vacation or are out doing field work. Some other student assistants may come in to man the phone lines, but aside from that, it's pretty much empty here for the time being.
My heart unexpectedly starts beating faster when I hear that it'll just be the two of us, alone, in this office. I can't help but stare at Professor Atlas's attractive side profile as he goes over some other menial instructions. My eyes wander down to notice his sleeves are rolled up, revealing toned forearms. As he leans closer, I unconsciously take a whiff of his rustic cologne. 'Cause yeah, that's what we all see in a man. Toned forearms. The scent is intoxicating, but I force my gaze to snap back up again, only to land on his perfectly styled blonde hair. I swear I can even catch a hint of his aftershave in the air. I mean, he is one of the hottest teachers around. I wonder how many girls from class would kill to be me right now.
By the way, how do you take your coffee?
Oh, 2 sugars, please.
Duly noted. Please settle in. I will be right back. I watched him walk towards the direction of the kitchen. As I turned back to my desk, I noticed a small note taped to the top of my computer monitor. Welcome to the team, and congratulations, F. Atlas. It's a small gesture, but I can't help but break out into a smile. A few days ago, I would have never thought he was anything more than a wolf in sheep's clothing, but lately he's been nothing but kind and welcoming. He seems really nice outside of the classroom. Maybe he's just strict when he's teaching. I think I misjudged him. My reverie is interrupted as a small coffee mug is placed on my desk. I look up to see Professor Atlas smiling straight at me, and I feel heat rise to my cheeks again. Oh, thank you so much. My pleasure. It's a bit of a stronger brew, so let me know if it's to your liking. If not, we can always just make some more. I bring the coffee to my lips as I feel him watching me expectantly. After taking a sip, I can't help but smile at him. It's delicious, thank you, Professor. I'm glad to hear it. By the way, are you feeling better from yesterday? Huh? My heart beats faster as Professor Atlas brings his free hand towards my face. He gently places it on my forehead, and I feel my face light up. I noticed in class yesterday, well, you seemed a bit drained. But you're looking a lot better today. It's a relief. I was quite worried. I can feel my face burning up as I feel the touch of his gentle hand on my forehead. He gazes at me with a warm expression before removing his hand and taking a sip of his own coffee. If you're ever not feeling well, let me know. I'll do my best to accommodate your needs. Yes. Thank you so much. Wonderful. Well, I'll be right back with your assignment for today. After the professor disappears in his office, I discreetly try to fan my tomato-colored face. I giggle into my coffee mug as my thoughts drift off to rose-colored daydreams. Oh my God, I struck gold! I'm the luckiest girl in this school. I spin around in my chair as I grab my compact mirror and check my makeup. Suddenly, my thoughts are interrupted by a loud slamming noise. I turn around and see Professor Atlas dropping off a monstrous stack of papers on the corner of my desk. After a few moments, he returns to drop off even more gargantuan stacks, piling them up one after another until my desk is absolutely full. I swallow hard as Professor Atlas shoots me a radiant smile while patting the piles. These are capstone proposal papers from my upper level archaeology courses. I'd like them alphabetized and organized by year and semester, please. Of course. Is this due by the end of the week? Professor Atlas lets out a hearty laugh that resonates through the entire empty office. Haha, you have such a witty sense of humor, Yona. No, these are to be done by the end of today. After all, you have double this workload waiting for you tomorrow. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. There's the downside of the professor. Now then, if you'll excuse me, I'm heading out for a meeting that's off campus. Oh, and do not forget, we have our tutoring session in the evening. I expect you to be back in I expect you to be back in the office by 6 sharp. You know how I feel about tardiness. I watch in awe as he walks out of the office with an amused grin on his face, waving on the way out. As I turn back to stare at the monstrous pile of paper lined up in front of me, my jaw drops. Played. I got completely played. As my apartment door closes behind me, I slide down lifelessly to the floor. I can barely form a sentence from the pile of mush my brain was left in after today. I feel ya. I've been there. Completely mush by the end of the day when you have schoolwork and other work to do. Just not cool. My body and soul ache as I stare at the 5-page homework assignment clutched in my hand. The words due tomorrow written at the top in red ink and circled 3 times over. What on earth did I agree to? I feel rage finally begin to seep into me as I look back on the day's events. After ordering me to organize all of the capstone proposals, the professor put me through the ringer in a 2-hour tutoring session and assigned me extra homework on top of my regular class assignments. Atlas's smiling face is burned into my mind as I visualized horns coming out of his head and the flames of hell dancing in the backdrop. I grip the paper in my hand as I stand up defiantly. He thinks I can't really do it. That's what it is. He thinks he can just mess with me however he pleases. Well, you've got another thing coming, Satan. Anger and determination break through the day's exhaustion as I head over to my room, fiercely determined to complete his godforsaken assignment, even if it takes me all night. The next day, I can literally feel the dark circles pulsing under my eyes as I attempt to add yet another layer of concealer onto them. I was up all night doing that stupid assignment. I barely got a wink of sleep. Ah, good morning. Punctually perfect again. I grimace as I glance back to meet the professor's cheery smile as he comes in through the door. I force a smile back as I hand him the assignment that robbed me of my precious sleep last night. Oh, you actually did it? Excuse me? Was I not supposed to? Well, I just wasn't expecting you to have it done by today. I was even going to tell you that you could turn it in later, but too late for that now, I suppose. Good job. I can feel a murderous intent well up inside me as I watch him shrug. Yeah, I would be pretty mad too. I slump tiredly back into my chair as he watches me, an amused knowing smile tugging at his lips. 2 sugars?
Please. I let out a sigh as I stare at yet another tower of unorganized papers looming ominously over my desk. I quietly look back into Professor Atlas's office to see him lost deep in thought over a paper on his desk. The afternoon sun shines through his window, giving him a dreamy, almost ethereal glow as he as he works the afternoon away. The devil is a handsome man, but he's still a devil. I won't fall for your tricks anymore. I turn back to my pile and shake my head in an attempt to motivate myself into getting this dreadful task done. As I continue to organize more and more papers, my desk becomes more and more cluttered. I look over and spot an organizational bin over on another professor's desk. An idea pops into my mind as I head towards the file room. I stare up at the small storage room that houses hundreds of the department's files and papers. Surprisingly, it's neatly organized. Praise the poor soul who did God's work here. Organizing this place would be a nightmare. I look around and finally spot the bins I'm looking for on top of the shelf. Of course, the top shelf. Where else would they be? As I scan the area, I don't manage to find a reliable means of lifting myself up to reach the bins I'm aiming for. I glance back thoughtfully towards Atlas's office for a few moments before spinning back around with a scowl. No, he's capable of making me reorganize this whole room if I mention it. I refuse to ask him for help. Deciding to use the small counter an arm's length away as a boost, I slowly climb up and grab onto the file cabinet. Despite the lift in height, I can still barely reach the top. I stand on my tiptoes as I feel with my hand for the bins. Eventually, I manage to grab one and bring it down next to me. I should get another one just in case. Suddenly, my hand grabs something cushiony. Curiously, I lower the soft object down and see that I'm holding what appears to be a pink penguin plush toy. You seem a little out of place here. Yes, it's quite dusty up there, actually. No food either. Silence. Ah! Ah! I immediately let go of the talking toy, but the second I do so, I feel my balance waver. I attempt to grab onto a rail, but end up feeling the entire cabinet move with me. My footing slips, and I close my eyes as I brace myself for the worst. Watch out! Instead of a world of pain, I feel something warm and soft embrace me. Ooh. I open my eyes to see Professor Atlas carrying me in his arms. He quickly straightens the cabinet out with one push of his back, and then turns to me with worry painted over his face.
Are you all right, Yoda?
I, um, yes.
I've been telling them to replace this old thing for months. It's an accident waiting to happen.
Blood rushes to my face as I feel his strong arms lift me up effortlessly. His cologne drifts into my senses yet again, and I notice my hand is instinctively pressed against his chest.
What were you looking for?
But Ben's.
Next time, ask me. I have plenty in my office.
He places me down gently. I look around at the strewn mess of files that fell in the accident and let out a large sigh. I'm sorry about the mess. I'll clean it up now.
Actually, how about we call it a day?
What? Really?
Why are you so surprised? I wouldn't make you clean this all up alone, right now. I'm not the devil, you know.
As he laughs bemusedly, I can't help but look away embarrassed.
Yeah, 'cause he's the devil in your mind.
After we are out of the room, he motions for me to pick up my things.
Come on, I'll treat you to some coffee that isn't from our faculty lounge. We can have our tutoring session out of the office today.
You're really serious?
I mean, unless you prefer filing papers for the rest of the evening, that is.
No! I mean, I know this great cafe nearby.
Perfect. Let's get going then. I could use a good cup right now, too.
As I walk in through the doors of my favorite place, Cafe Estrella, I can't help but smile at the delicious smell of coffee wafting through the air. Here we are, see? I told you it was a short walk.
Huh. I've never been here before. I didn't know there was a cafe like this so close to campus.
It's pretty hidden and kind of small, but it's actually amazing. The coffee here is the best in town.
Best in town? That's a bold statement. However, judging by how wonderful it smells in here, I think you might be onto something.
We sit down at a table and order our coffees. After a few minutes, I catch Professor Atlas excitedly peering over to watch the barista make the drinks from his seat. He seems pretty excited. Maybe I should say something. What should I say? Do you drink coffee a lot, Professor? Do you drink coffee a lot, Professor?
Only 4 times a day. 2 cups in the morning, 1 cup in the afternoon, and one right before bed.
That's too much coffee, Professor Atlas. 1 cup and I'm feeling sick. I mean, it's good, but it makes me feel sick. Wow, that's a lot more than the average person.
Haha, is it? I guess you can say I'm quite a aficionado. Aficionado. Then there's nothing more sublime than just feeling the day's unease melt away with a good cup of coffee. I can't imagine my life without it.
I somewhat feel that though, but it's more in the morning when I need to wake up and, you know, feel alive again. We look up from our conversation as a waiter comes over with a tray.
Oh, it's you again.
I meet the eyes of the cafe's new employee and I smile. Ah, hello there. You're the new barista, right?
I am. My name's Jamie. Nice to meet you both. You're Yona, right? Mr. Soul talks about you all the time, haha. Oh, and here. These are on the house for you guys today.
Whoa, thank you so much. I watch Professor Atlas nod politely as Jamie places a steaming cup of coffee in front of him, along with some delicious-looking macaroons on the table. The professor's eyes seem to sparkle as he stares into his cup, and I can't help but giggle.
Let me know if you guys need anything else. I'll see you around, Yona.
I smile as the barista heads back. For some reason, he seems so familiar to me, but I can't place my finger on where I've seen him before. My thoughts are interrupted as I hear Professor Atlas mutter from across the table. A cream stash uncharacteristically covers his usually flawless face. Ah, the classic milk mustache.
This is absolutely divine.
I can't help but let out a small giggle as I point to his caffeinated mustache. The professor clears his throat before quickly wiping it away as a reddish hue tints his cheeks.
My apologies. I really love coffee.
We can tell. It's nice to see this side of you, Professor. Coffee is great. I totally agree. Professor Atlas smiles. Professor Atlas smiles at me as he places his cup down.
Florian.
What?
You can call me Florian while we aren't at the university. It's a little strange to be called Professor Atlas in a cafe.
Ah, Florian then. Professor Atlas's smile only seems to grow bigger as I stutter out his name. I'm embarrassed, yet secretly delighted to have his first name escape my lips. He reaches over to his briefcase and pulls out a history book, along with some notes.
Now then, how about we host our tutoring session in here for the evening?
I nod enthusiastically as I pull my seat closer to his and peer into the textbook. All right, next time we will be reading episode 3, Archaeology 101. See you next time.